Since we're all stuck at home, I thought I would start by reading you a poem from my bathroom. This is a poem about silverfish. We don't currently have any silverfish in our bathroom that I'm aware of, but we did for a while. We had, in a previous place where we lived, we had quite a population of them. And silverfish, well, there's a lot of fascinating things about silverfish, but one thing that I just found out recently actually is that when silverfish are going through a difficult time, they simply expel all the water from their bodies and turn into basically a piece of gravel or a tiny stone. And that seems to me like a superpower that could be quite useful for many of us right now. This is silver. I need silverfish. Rise cold at night to cold cock silverfish. I get a kick from electric lighting up their hood. My husband stomps them with his hand shoes. I haven't asked him if what comes is dust, and he wouldn't tell me if I did. They've never had the vote. I tell them once my mum spilled mercury from a thermometer, bawled it futuristically. She wanted me to think her girlhood full of mercury and pencil leads and sisters begging for their sisterhood. She said that where my father worked, the walls were thick with asbestos. And since my husband's terrified of poisoning our son, our bathroom is a fish moth farm, cracks spilling silverfish onto infinite white. They cannot climb. They fear the light. I've learned the love of silverfish has 3 parts. For first, the silverfish stand face to face. Antennae quiver. They back off and come back. They think of Roald Dahl, pressing foil on foil to make a silver ball. Patience is a thumbnail scoring metal, ironing paper flat. Then the male makes a dash for it. The female dashes after. And when the doctor dashed my son at me, I could swear he was silver. Purple maybe, but silver gilded. Not a son then, but a monster. What I remember is gasping and fighting while my husband fought to sever the cord, jumping and looping that held us together. For thirds, the silverfish are side by side, and head to tail, the male stroking her. What he gives is wrapped in gossamer. And now here our silverfish hordes are, gobbling our discarded skin and hair, and that is parenthood. The first silver I found was long before, a slim string among the hair issuing from my husband's chest. We were dirt young then, so I yanked it, threw it to the silverfish. I want to read you a poem set in the cafe in the Dundrum shopping centre, which is this really huge shopping centre that was built just a few years back near the house where I grew up. When it was built, it was the biggest shopping centre in the whole of Europe. It's an absolutely massive extravaganza of shopping. And I suppose at the moment it's presumably, extremely quiet, but probably mostly all shuttered up, which is a funny thought. You don't need to know much else about this poem, except maybe it's helpful to know about the brown squares of the Monopoly board. The brown squares on our Monopoly board right here are, as you can see, the teacher's parking space and the bike sheds. But the brown squares on the Monopoly board for Dublin are Kimmage and Crumlin. And Crumlin happens to be where the Children's Hospital is. So this is service not included. Who's to thank for the buckets of lavender thrown open beside us? For the foam clouds on twin cappuccinos? For the carved boxes that hold sugar? For the child telling reams about superheroes? For the darkening sky of the waiter at a cafe in the shopping centre when you could not speak for your tears? Hospital coffee was never so kindly, so quick to make believe. On the morning I wed, you and I came here to the shopping centre, and scented women pared our nails in a scented room. Who's to thank for their cool hands working away in our memories? Here, your hands are out of my reach. You must have thought it, but when my son was born, howling and writhing and thrust to my skin, how your own son left the room and the snap they left you to hold of him. Your hands are smaller than mine and neat. How they told you the hospital name and you thought that dun square of Monopoly board. Made your way there by a route you'd score into your palms by the end. Saved change for the car park. Packed a thermos, perhaps. Now families glide about the shopping centre, in neons fresh from invention, eyes shiny with gratitude, music tasteful and tender. You must have thought when my son has made strange, raged at being made come asunder, of all the times you had to leave the hospital and drive home to your daughters. Of all the skin we need to touch and are not touched. Of all the starving to the touch, the familiar injustices. Spread coins thick across the tables. Go about the shopping centre. Praise the coffee, the kindness of the escalator. Haircuts, the beautiful, the familiar, the comfortable weather. Who's to thank? Who's to praise for your hands? Who sits up there in head office, taking our minds off the past waiting rooms and coffee docks?